What's poppin', popcorn enthusiasts? Back with another anime review. Today we're diving into Demon Slayer, specifically episode 7 of the Hashira training arc. Buckle up, because this might be the best episode of the entire season. Maybe even the last 2 seasons. Here are my 5 reasons why episode 7 absolutely blew me away. We start off with the climax of the entire training arc for Tanjiro. He is putting everything into it and he pushes the boulder almost 350 feet. Tanjiro is completely done and broken, and just when Tanjiro thinks he's going to pass out, Gyomei comes and gives him water and the encouragement that Tanjiro desperately needs. Gyomei comes to him and tells him that he is proud of him because of what he did at the Swordsmith Village. During the Swordsmith Village, when the demons are attacking, Nezuko pushes Tanjiro to go save the villagers. And Gyomei tells Tanjiro that he's proud of him because he willingly sacrificed his sister to save the villagers. Tanjiro takes a moment and corrects Gyomei, telling him, "No, I didn't save them. Nezuko pushed me to go save them." And I believe that was the final test that Gyomei had. He wanted to see if Tanjiro would tell him the truth or use this as an opportunity to just have a better standing or respect within the Hashiras. This is when we start transitioning into Gyomei's backstory, which for me, this was the crux of the entire episode, maybe even the entire season. We actually get to see Gyomei as a young man who's a lot scrawnier than he is today, and we see him with many children. So what we get to learn is he's actually housing all these orphans to nurture them, to make them grow, to give them food, to give them shelter. And you really see the soft side of Gyomei. In this scene, you also see a child going up to Gyomei, telling him, "Hey, have my food. You're skinny, you need to eat." And Gyomei laughingly tells her, "You need to go eat. I've had the training to sustain myself without food." And it's just a nice little scene showing the kindness that these children have for him. A few scenes later, it's a 180 change. There's a child being pursued by a demon in the woods. He is one of the kids that Gyomei is taking care of. And this kid gives up all information of where they are, how this demon can go kill all the other kids to save himself. And that's what I believe Gyomei is also trying to see with all these up and coming kids. Are they selfish? Are they only going to do things to benefit them? Long story short, there's a really cool, very short battle of this demon slaughtering so many of these kids. But Gyomei, with his bare hands and no demon slayer training, kills this demon. It just shows the power of this guy. And that's when the sun comes up, the demon's body burns off, and when the authorities come, one of the surviving little girls, who previously was the one who actually gave Gyomei the food, or offered him the food, she's the one that turns around and says that Gyomei was a monster and he did this. Gyomei understood that because she's so young, her mind must have been warped. She didn't know what she saw, so she just thought that he did this. And that's what breaks Gyomei. His heart is broken, and that's why the guy is always crying, and that's so sad. It's like you put your life on the line and then you don't even get the thanks for it. Anyways, Gyomei is then saved, and he becomes the person that he is today. He becomes a Hashira, one of the strongest, if not the strongest, for this modern day Hashiras. We conclude this scene with Tanjiro and Gyomei by Gyomei telling Tanjiro that you are as good as people say you are. You're honest and you're hardworking. And this is actually one of the first few scenes you see Gyomei not crying. And I think that's really a crux of it. Gyomei isn't crying anymore because it feels like his heart has been restored, or it feels like his faith in children has come back. And I really like that. That's the way they ended the scene. Moving on to Zenitsu. Zenitsu has a shocking transformation. And this was a really well done scene. And I like it because they've left it so open to where in the next episode, we could go in so many different directions, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. So to back up a little bit, Zenitsu gets a message from his crow, Chuntaro, and we see his eyes fixate on the paper. We're not told exactly what's on it. If I was a guessing person, probably something to do with his master. Maybe he's sick, maybe he's dying, maybe he's dead. And this is a complete 180 change in Zenitsu's character, because you see him on a rock with a bloodied face, really serious, and you don't see serious Zenitsu unless he's sleeping, but in this case he's actually awake. And I like this shift for Zenitsu's character because I felt over the last few seasons he's kind of gotten further and further behind from Tanjiro and Inosuke. So it will be really interesting to see what this spurs, and maybe we get to see Zenitsu finally mastering more forms of thunder breathing. Maybe he ascends to the heights that his master actually thinks that he's capable of, which I think would be really cool to see in either the next episode or the next season. Moving focus from Zenitsu, we see Tanjiro going over to Giyu and Sanemi, and I love this scene. It's definitely a tonal shift because the first two stories of this episode were Zenitsu and his transformation, Gyomei, his backstory, and Tanjiro and his overcoming of the Boulder. So those three were a little bit more intense, a little bit more dramatic. But this scene with Giyu and Sanemi was just awesome. The animation was really good, the voice acting was really good, and the music and the score was really good. We really got to see where Demon Slayer is just probably one of the best in anime right now. The quality of fight scenes. This is a really short battle, but it's really fun because Sanemi is actually furious and trying to hurt Giyu, while Giyu, in his aloofness and goofiness, is just trying to be a friend to Sanemi, and I just thought that dynamic was just hilarious. Guys, honestly, any scene with Giyu is just the best. He's just my most favorite character. If you guys like Giyu, add it in the comments. Let's talk more about Giyu. Moving on to the final point on why this episode was just incredible. The king is back. My god, that Muzan entrance was everything I was waiting for this season. It was so badass. And I was so hyped when I saw it. The music, the slow-mo, the way he's coming into the Ubuyashiki compound, my gosh, I absolutely loved it. This scene has me so hyped for the last episode, and I know it's hyped for everyone. I cannot wait for the next episode, and we're really going to see everything cranked up to level 11. The danger, the gravity of the situation, and not knowing what is going to happen. Are we going to see multiple people dying because Muzan is just outrageously strong? Are we going to see the capture of Nezuko, which most likely, I mean, that's the thing I've been predicting from the beginning of the season, that she's probably going to get captured. What are we going to see? And if you have any theories, definitely add it down in the comments. I've not read the manga, so let's maybe leave out some spoilers, but theory crafting is always fun. Episode 7 was a phenomenal experience, and I'm so glad they delivered on a lot of stuff that I was asking for. I really enjoyed Yamei's backstory. Zenitsu's seriousness and change in character. I think it's just the perfect time for him to finally wake up and be serious. The little battle that we had between Giyu and Sanemi and Muzan, the entrance, like this episode, every second and every minute was just perfect. I'm gonna leave you with this question. How many people do you think are gonna die in the next episode? My guess is 3. I'm gonna go with 3 people dead, and I hope it's not any more than that, but hopefully it's less. What was the one thing that you absolutely loved or maybe wanted a bit more of? For me, it was definitely the Giyu and Sanemi fight. I really wish it was just a little bit longer. Everything else was just bang on and perfect. Alright guys, this has been the Popcorn Perspective. Love you all. Thanks for joining. Peace.